What's up, guys? I hope you're having a good day. This is Armando, or Zerto, or Epic Berry, whatever you want to call me, and I'm here to talk about something that has happened in Overwatch lately, a patch that has actually happened, and that's being tested on the PTR on PC. Now, I'm a console player, so this is not affecting me right now, but it will affect me in the future, or affect the community of the PS4, or Overwatch's PS4 community in the future. And this is the nerf to Genji. As you can see, Genji has gotten a nerf recently. If we can see, Blizzard believes, or the developers of Blizzard believe, that Genji was a little too difficult to pin down. And that these changes are going to balance his speed, which is his, if you don't know, his double jump no longer resets when wall climbing. His dash, which is something that needed to be fixed, no longer deals damages to traps, and it no longer bypasses the steel trap for Junkrat. They nerfed the Swift Strike, where you cannot add a melee attack, and then Swift Strike, it doesn't interrupt. And Dragon Blade has been reduced from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Now, the developers believe that this is going to balance people being able to hit Genji. It also is going to balance his Swift Strike, so they can cancel the quick melee, enough for a free kill or a free melee attack for the damage. And they also nerfed the duration of Dragon Blade because they felt that it was too difficult to counter. Now, here's the problem that I feel like. And you can call me a salty Genji main. I don't main Genji. I've been playing with him for the past couple of days, though. So, he became one of my top heroes recently. So, I have been using him quite a bit. And I feel like I know a little bit about the character, at least from my play experience. And from what I know, I think that Blizzard didn't do a very good job. I think the double jump to no longer resetting when wall climbing was something that was needed. It was a little bit unfair because you can kind of evade a lot of people, and by the time they're aiming at you, you'll probably have your cooldown for your deflect. Because, you double jumped, they missed, you wall climbed, they missed, you double jumped again, and then now you're on the floor fighting. That's something that needed to be patched, or I don't think that's something that should have been part of the game. I mean, it could have, but, who knows. His dash, I think that's something that was more of a bug than more of the ability. I think that's something that wasn't meant to be, and yet it happened, and, they're fixing it just now. And then, so those two things are something that I believe needed to be patched. That's a great job. Good job, Blizzard. Clap on the hand for you. But now here's where things get a little weird. The Swift Strike, it no longer interrupts quick melee attacks. So Genji would usually throw fan of blades. So it's the short shurikens, the 3 fans, followed by a melee stab, and then the Swift Strike. Now, this is theoretically supposed to do, I believe it's 140 or 160 damage to 200 max, depending if you get the headshot and all that stuff. And there's these different combos that they can use. And I guess Blizzard thought that it was too overpowered. They thought Genji shouldn't be one-shotting heroes. But, playing on console, I gotta let you guys know that you can do it. You can do this combo. It's just very hard to pull it off. On keyboard, it's like a mouse push and then a button push. Here, it's like you have to fan the hammer, you have to press the analog stick, and then you have to press the... I mean, it's not as hard, but I don't think the controller reacts as fast. I think the keyboard reacts way faster. But, I don't think that should have been picked, because think about it. If you're able to do that move, I think it's rewarding, especially for high skill players. Not everyone can do it, and not everyone can do it all the time, and not everyone can do it, or everyone does it. It's just something that you can do for extra damage, and I think it's a rewarding thing, and for them to patch it, or not be able to do it, it kind of puts a hamper on Genji's damage. This is a high reward thing. I mean, if you melee and you miss the Swift Strike, well, GG, because you kind of lost. You have to get the Swift Strike to reset, and then you have to get out of there. And then the Dragon Blade. The Dragon Blade that was reduced. I can kind of see it. I mean, in 8 seconds, you were able to get 9 slashes. So 9 times 120 was a pretty decent amount. It's probably about like 1,000 and something, 1,100 damage. I forgot. I'm not going to do a calculator right now. But yeah, 9 slashes in 8 seconds. That's something that needed to become now. To 6 seconds, you could still get 7 slashes. That's still a decent amount of damage. And Genji's ultimate doesn't really. I mean, you either wipe the team or you make the Zenyatta or Lucio use their ultimate. So it's like, it was kind of a more of let the other team activate this because we'll have the advantage. So it's usually whoever activates the Transcendence or Lucio barrier or Sound barrier first loses that fight. And that's what Genji's Dragon Blade did. Was it supposed to make them use it? It will, at least in the competitive scene, and from what I've played on PS4, because us console players love looking up to those MLG guys. um, and these fixes are something that could have been better. I think I give Blizzard a 50%. That not really a D. That's like kind of an F. I guess I'll give it a D minus. Cause they fix bugs that should have been fixed, or they fix things that should have been fixed at the beginning of the game. You know, so congrats on them for finally doing it instead of leaving it. But the Swift Strike was rewarding. The Dragon Blade is used to bring out ultis. I can understand the team wipe, and I don't think Genji just needed this nerf. You could call me a salty Genji main, or you can, but I no. His nerf was not that much needed. Maybe the Dragon Blade, but not the Swift Strike. The reason why Genji is so strong is because his counters are not strong enough. If you look at Winston, the big giant gorilla, his Tesla cannon annihilates Genji. Genji's deflect might as well be him holding a piece of paper in front of him. That's not going to do anything. And it does kill. Winston does kill Genji. But at the same time, like, with Zenyatta running amok with a Discord Orb, Winston is no way as powerful as he was back then. Because you literally can just fan the blades and kill Winston. And so there goes the reliable counter on Genji. And all the other counters to Genji, like Zarya with her main fire, Mei with her primary fire, and Symmetra with her primary fire, those heroes can take out Genji, but he was a little too hard to hit with the double jumps and the wall climbing. But nerfing everything else wasn't the way to go. If anything, I think Blizzard should have buffed a lot of the other heroes. I think they should have buffed at least Winston. Because right now, the meta in tanks is D.Va, Zarya, and of course your great pal Reinhardt. You've seen Winston in competitive a lot, but he more or less just dies. You just put a shield from Zarya, get the charge, and then you get back out. It's just poke damage, and that's a problem because yes, Winston is a diversion tank, but he's still a tank. His shield is too weak. A Bastion turret can take it out so fast. A couple of shots with Genji shurikens take it out fast. A couple of shots from McCree takes it out fast. And that shield just breaks so easily. And I understand it's supposed to, get your jump back so you could jump out. But when the team is shooting at that shield, that Winston is dead. It's either, you have to buff him. Everything else is fine about the monkey. You just need to give him either a more shield or stronger shield, decrease the duration of the shield, like the cooldown, or make his Tesla cannon do more damage. There's a lot of things Blizzard can do. They could have buffed a lot of their heroes. Genji was never a problem when the game first came out. He's only a problem now because Zenyatta's in the meta, and he is a direct counter to Zenyatta. I think he's the most reliable counter to Zenyatta. And even if that's the case, I don't think he deserved the nerf. Why would you complain about him now, but not back then? I understand, maybe not a lot of people were playing Genji. Maybe, he was that one-off annoying Genji that you had. But even if that was the case, you know, he wasn't as powerful as before, and now, you know, he's not powerful at all. So this nerfs really did nothing for the meta. But you know, I like to know what you guys think. I'm gonna make more videos, you know, about the other characters, the other patches, and yeah.